Mr. Gwati. The University of Nottingham and the Zimbabwe Council for Higher Education have a long-standing partnership. And as part of the partnership, we have put together this workshop. And the idea for us is to bring together here in Zimbabwe some of the best of the global north and some of the best of the global south, and specifically Africa. So I am happy to introduce powerful editors that we have brought from different parts of the world. Some are going to be joining us virtually, but here today we have Professor Tristan McCowan, University College of London. We have University College of London has a history. I'm not going to go into that because that would constitute the whole workshop. With the University of Zimbabwe. And Professor Tristan is our
lead. Let them see you, Prof, please.
Professor Tristan is our lead editor. And so he is going to be driving the workshop. So you'll be hearing more from him. We have written so much about him in the program there. And I don't want to say much to spoil, what he's going to be delivering, because that's also going to say more about who he is. So let me stop there on Professor Tristan. So, and then we have Professor Stella Nkomo. Well, Professor Stella Nkomo if you read the program, you just see what a powerful woman she is in terms of the research world and the work that she has done for Africa. She is American, but she is very much African, from South Africa, has taught at different universities in South Africa for many years. She's just on her way retiring, but has committed to continue to fight for scholarship in Africa. So,
let them see you, Prof.
Well, I don't want to say much, but she is the head of OCA, and so she will be telling us a bit more about OCA later, so I won't go into that. Then, well, talking about OCA again, we have, Professor Herman Ndofo. So Professor Herman Ndofo is from the University of Indiana in the United States of America, but he is an editor of EFM, which is Professor Stella, sorry, I'll have to ask Professor Ndofo to say
Africa Journal of Management.
Africa Journal of Management. So Professor Ndofo, we've brought him all the way. I mean, Africa Journal of Management is an African-based journal. But it's it's powerful, and it's got the editorial team includes powerful professors from all over the world, and so they have chosen Professor Ndofo to come and represent that journal. So you will be hearing more from Professor Ndofo, and then we have Professor Simon McGrath. Professor Simon McGrath, need I say more, is very much Zimbabwean. He has contributed to education in Zimbabwe, in primary school, not at St. George's or St. John or these posh schools, but he served the Zimbabwean education system in rural Manicaland. So, and he also studied or had affiliation here at the University of Nottingham. So he is no stranger to Zimbabwe, but he is at the University of Nottingham.
Now the next one to be introduced is my own boss. You heard the partnership between the University of Nottingham and the Zimbabwe Council for Higher Education, ZIMCA in short. And the helm, and the helm of that is Professor Kuzhinetsa Peter Bzimbo. I'll ask him to say more.
Thank you. I'll introduce myself. I'm extremely happy that the work of my two colleagues, Dr. Evelyn Garwe and Dr. Tontla, has now come to a fruition in this workshop. But what makes me extremely happy is that we have got colleagues from the African continent as well as colleagues from the global north. So I want to specifically welcome my colleagues from Nigeria. I really welcome you. Ahmadu Bello is my alma mater. I got my master's degree there in 1979. So you're most welcome. I welcome my colleagues from Ghana. I have a particular affinity, having put satellite dishes at Cape Coast, Gimpa, and K Nast. And my rise to fame is having shaken the hand of the Asante Hene. So I also want to welcome my colleagues from Kenya, having spent 6 years of my most formative years as the head of the African Virtual University, as you say, in East Africa. So you are most welcome, colleagues from Kenya. I also want to welcome my colleagues from Uganda. You're most welcome. I've also put satellite dishes at Makerere University, been an advisor to 2 vice-chancellors at Makerere University, and put satellite dishes at Chambogo University. So I'm extremely proud that we've got colleagues that are coming from the African continent. And I want to welcome my colleagues from South Africa, those that are coming from Pretoria, no, not Pretoria, but from Tshwane, and those of you that are coming from Northwest. I spent the last 4 years not very far from where you are at the Valley University of Technology as Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic and Research. So you're extremely welcome to this institution. But Professor Moyana, I'm particularly happy that I'm coming back home to the University of Zimbabwe, having been a dean of the Faculty of Education, when she was a senior academic there, and also pro-vice chancellor of this fine institution at some stage. So I feel that I'm coming back home, and I'm extremely proud to be associated with this particular function. And I welcome my 2 colleagues from the United Kingdom. You're most welcome, gentlemen, to the University of Zimbabwe, to Zimbabwe, and to this very special project. And I thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we are at someone else's home, and it is only proper that we hear who is the leader of that home. For that, I'll ask, we had someone who was saying, I'm the Director of Information and Public Relations at this institution. So may we ask him to probably introduce the acting Vice Chancellor?
Thank you, Mr. Kwati. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, good morning. The person that I'm going to be introducing to you today, ladies and gentlemen, is a prolific researcher, very accomplished in terms of research. She is widely published in top-end journals, and she is an author of a large number of chapters, journal articles, and books. She is a former Dean of the Faculty of Education, and she is an educationist in her own right. And she is currently the Pro-Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs at the University of Zimbabwe. And now she's here in her capacity as the Acting Vice Chancellor of the university. And talking of none other than Professor Rosemary Moyana. Professor Moyana. It's okay. No, I just wanted you.
No, yeah. She's the one coming.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
That's okay.
no, no problem.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, okay. Now she is going to give us the welcome remarks.
Yes, good morning everyone. Going to speak I'm going to speak to give you the speech that would have been given by Professor Paul Mapomo, the Vice Chancellor of this university. But before I talk in his name, I would like you to change your focus, because you want to publish in top journals, high impact journals. My assignment to you this day is that, and throughout your workshop, create high impact journals. Create them. So that's top down. It's not your objective. But I listened to how you want to send them to someone else, and yet we are the ones with the power. We are the ones with the knowledge. So if we could create 2 or 3 journals out of this workshop that will say they're high impact because my article is there, then we would have done well for Africa and for the next generation. So it's not about me now, from now on. It's about Professor Paul Mapomo, the Vice Chancellor of this university. He gave me his speech to welcome you all. So if you hear me say I, look beyond me. It's not me. It's him. Chief Executive Officer, Zimbabwe Council of Higher Education, Professor Vujineta Pima Jimbo. I was about to say Professor Jimbo. Some of the officials are not there, but I'll salute them in absentia. Like Pro Vice Chancellor Strategic Partnerships Industrialization, Professor Charles Mboa. OCA, Professor Stella Komo. Welcome, ma'am. Professor Tristan Lisanda and H. McCohen, lead editor, facilitator. Welcome. Professor Simon Andrew McGrath, welcome. Executive Director, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, you are all welcome to this university and to Zimbabwe. It is my pleasure on my own behalf and that of the University of Zimbabwe community to warmly welcome you to the University of Zimbabwe on the occasion of this important workshop. It is wonderful to see that this workshop has generated such great great interest and has attracted scholars and researchers not only from within the University of Zimbabwe and the country itself, but also from across borders and across seas. Allow me, therefore, to extend a special welcome to our distinguished guests and workshop participants who have traveled from outside Zimbabwe to be part of this unique gathering. I'm pleased to know that the organization of this workshop is a collaborative venture between the Zimbabwe Council for Higher Education, the University of Zimbabwe, the British Academy, and University of Nottingham. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a fact that knowledge is power. Knowledge from books, journals, reference books, and many other literary sources play a big role in empowering our people, enlightening them, liberating them, motivating them, and even developing them materially and intellectually. The training workshop that we are running today into the next 2 days is indeed testament of our commitment to creating and generating knowledge that is critical to the development not only of our nations but the globe. Whether we like it or not, we are now fully a part of the knowledge economy, and the challenge for us, therefore, is to understand how we can be active, powerful participants in such a world rather than allow other players to determine how we fit into it. A world-class university is one that society admires and emulates. It must take a leadership role and be a point of reference for society. This is the mandate that society thrusts upon us as higher education institutions. It is incumbent upon us to set the pace in scientific advancement, knowledge creation and generation, innovation and dissemination of information in order to provide solutions to challenges that face our communities, our regions, our country, and the globe. Unless our academics are committed to creating and generating knowledge, we are, in Africa in particular, destined to play second fiddle in all spheres of intellectual, technological, and scientific development. This in part is what makes this training workshop momentous. I also wish to thank the British Academy for providing the much needed financial support that has made the organization of the workshop possible. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to also thank all the workshop participants for sparing time from the otherwise very busy schedules to be part of this important event. With these remarks, I thank you for listening to me. May you have a productive and successful training workshop, and may God abundantly bless you and bless our countries from where we come. Thank you so much. So, I won't be with you because I have to be in another meeting that started at 9. I wish you a very successful, that's me talking now. I wish you a very successful workshop that is memorable, and I hope you will have time to tour the university surroundings as well as the country before you go back home. Thank you so much.
Dr. Klondana to come and spell out the objectives of the workshop. Thereafter, we'll get a message from the CEO of Zimbabwe. Okay. Oh yes, it's coming out. It's technology.
Yes.
Yes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to work. Next. So somebody said nothing will be written by itself if you just sit and wait. But of course, it's not as easy as that. That's why we are here, in the hope that by the end of this workshop, we will have developed capacity for quality research writing, for publication and grant writing. Next. Secondly, we have brought together the global north and the global south. So we are going to be democratizing and co-constructing knowledge about the dynamics of international publication. Next. Thereby establish sustainable collaborations between leading early career research in the region and British and other international organizations. Next. Finally, we hope that the Global North journal editors, represented here by our powerful team of editors, will begin to understand how they can best support Africa to have African scholarship on the global market. Thank you very much.
We are now all clear, I think, with what is set for us during the coming 3 days. Without further ado, may I have the honor to ask the CEO of ZIMCHE, Professor KP Drimbo, to come and provide the message from ZIMCHE. Prof.
All of you, and another sincere and hearty welcome to my brothers and sisters from the African continent. You're most welcome. I'm not saying I'm not welcoming my colleagues from Zegu, from Bindura, from UZ. You're also most welcome, and from UZ as well, librarian, you're all welcome. On behalf of the Zimbabwe Council for Higher Education, I would like to join my local and international organizers of this workshop, of this writing workshop, to welcome you all to this British Academy Writing Workshop for Sub-Saharan Africa. I think the fact that they are focusing on Sub-Saharan Africa is critical. I think we must carry a particular message that the writing workshop is for us, by us. And I want to plead with you to remember what Professor Moyana, the acting Vice-Chancellor, said a few minutes ago, that the idea is not for us to work very hard to go and publish in the Global North. The idea is for us to produce those journals that are of an equal stature, but coming from the university in Nigeria, the university in Ghana, the university in South Africa, the university in Kenya, and the university in Uganda. I think that's a very important message. I would also like to welcome all our international speakers and participants. Let me acknowledge, obviously, the presence of our acting Vice-Chancellor, Professor Moyana, and other senior officials from sister universities, such as executive directors, deans, directors, heads of departments, professors, senior lecturers, and students that are present with us this morning. Please, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to extend a special welcome to Professor Tristan McCowan. I hope I pronounced that well. Perfect. Thank you very much. Our facilitator from the United Kingdom, Professor Stella Nkomo. You're most welcome to this fine institution and to this beautiful country. Professor Herman Ndofo, you're most welcome, sir, to Zimbabwe. I'm told you are from, I don't know whether it's Indiana State University or University of Indiana. Indiana University. Thank you very much. I noticed, Professor, that we share the same alma mater. I got my PhD from University of Wisconsin-Madison. So I was very pleased when I saw that this morning, that you and me share the same alma mater. I graduated in 1989 with my PhD from UW-Madison. Professor Simon McGrath from the University of Nottingham, and Professor Tondlana. You can see I'm mispronouncing your name, because I'm a classic example of the failure of the Rhodesian secondary education system, where we were not taught all these other languages. So if I become Minister of Secondary Education one day, I'll make sure that those of us from Mashonaland, we study in Ndebele. And those of us from Atebeleland, you study Shona 2 up to Form 4. But you know that will never happen. I'll never be Minister of Education. Okay, and I want to welcome my colleagues from Zimche, Dr. Garwe, the Deputy CEO. You're most welcome, ma'am, and thank you very much. Now I know why you were not at work. You were very busy with this project, and I can see the results. I also want to welcome Professor Ravinda Rena, and you're most welcome, and all the other colleagues from the Northwest University. Professor Tony Bush was supposed to be here. I see his name on the program, but he's coming to us. He's coming by video. Thank you. I think that's very important because we have deconstructed the notion of time and space in this modern era. I really want to recognize him because he's one of the most recognized academics and scholars in the field of educational leadership. And I've known him probably for almost 30 years. But thank you very much. My brief message to early careers is going to be a little bit more provocative. But that's me. If it's not provocative, then that's not me. I would like to extend a special welcome to all the early career researchers from Zimbabwe and the rest of the African continent. As early career researchers, you are the future of the African continent in terms of producing new knowledge that we produce as a people and as an African people. We must move away from a dependency paradigm in which we consume what we do not produce. As Professor Achille Mbembe is a professor of, he's a philosopher, he's a political scientist, he's a social scientist, but he's somebody who started his early career in Zimbabwe at Chishawasha Seminary. So I'm saying, Professor Achille Mbembe refers to this state of affairs as, and I quote, the state of maximum exteriority and ontological impoverishment. We are really impoverished ontologically, meaning philosophically. And this is why we are very quick ourselves to think of publishing in high-impact journals that are coming from the global north, because we are impoverished. And what even Professor Moyana was talking to, that's exactly what she was saying. I also hope that we'll have time to interrogate the ontological and epistemological predelications that undergird our work that we do as African researchers. I'm saying we have to really interrogate our knowledge base as Africans. We have to interrogate our knowledge base as academics and researchers in the African academy. Remember, there is a whole debate. Is the University of Ghana a European university on the African continent? Is the University of Zimbabwe a European university in Zimbabwe? Is it an African university? And we are the people that must talk to that particular topic. That are our universities, the appellation that we call the University of Zimbabwe, because of its origin in the University of London. Is it an African university? Is it a Zimbabwean university? So we must interrogate that philosophically. We must interrogate ontologically. We must interrogate that in terms of the knowledge base. We must interrogate that in terms of our epistemologies that we are teaching, that we are basing in this institution. This theme is the one that Professor Achille Mbembe from the University of the Witwatersrand and Professor Sabelo Ndlovu, whom some of us know from UNISA, this is what they're talking about. We also need to borrow ideas from colleagues such as a Ugandan scholar, Professor Catherine Odora Hoopers from the University of South Africa, who is asking us to rethink our thinking about, and I quote, to rethink our thinking about, and I quote, modernity is other and the transformation of the African university as a center of new knowledge that is autochthonous and African, so that we invite dissent and challenge new forms of knowledge that come under the guise of globalization and Klaus Schwab's fourth industrial revolution. I'm being extremely provocative
so that we can rethink our thinking about research, so that we can rethink our thinking about the business of publications, so that we can rethink our thinking about the whole process of the importance of high-impact journals. As we get exposure on how to do research and publish our research findings, we should also learn from Professor Bagali Chilisan from the University of Botswana, so that we are able to unpack the interests that are embedded in research methodologies. A research methodology in both the social sciences, the physical sciences, the health sciences is not apolitical. It is not neutral. It has a particular agenda that is embedded in it. So it is our role. It is our role as organic intellectuals to unpack what is happening there. Hence the need for us to take seriously the advice from Salim Badat, a South African scholar, when he advises us to seek, and I quote,